Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters. Tonight, we're bringing you results from our exclusive Eyewitness News Roger Williams University poll. Only Eyewitness News is giving you a snapshot of who's winning your votes in the race for governor.
Our poll finds if the election were held today, 43% of voters would choose Democratic incumbent Gina Raimondo. 36% say Republican Alan Fung, 7% say independent Joe Trillo, and 9% aren't sure.
Three other candidates each polled less than 2%. Eyewitness News reporter Tim White joins us now live in studio. Tim, the numbers show that the governor is actually widening her lead over Alan Fung.
Yeah, that's correct, Mike, by a 7-point margin at this point. And look, this is our third poll since the start of the year, and it's the first time we've seen the governor crack 40%. The improved numbers coming after her primary win and a summer-long blitz of advertising by the Raimondo campaign. Eyewitness News and Roger Williams University polled 420 likely voters on a number of issues. In the race for governor, incumbent Democrat Gina Raimondo gets a 7-point lead over Republican challenger Alan Fung. Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming has been polling for WPRI 12 since 1984. He says compared to our last poll in July, Raimondo has improved with independents.
Among independent voters, where in the past Gina had a lot of problems, she's now running even with Alan Fung with the independent voters.
Fleming says the winner in November may need less than 50% of the vote because voters will have 5 candidates to choose from.
Plus some of the other candidates are drawing 1% of the vote, 1.5% of the vote.
But it adds up to?
That's what I was going to say. It adds up to over 10% of the vote.
Even at 7%, Fleming says Republican turned independent Joe Trillo is having a big impact on the race right now.
If Joe Trillo keeps moving up, I really believe he's taking votes away from Alan Fung. So I think Alan Fung has to come up with a plan that holds Joe Trillo where he is.
Fleming is quick to point out that with more than 6 weeks to Election Day, there is still plenty of time for these numbers to change. Coming up at 5:30, Ted Nesi has results in the race for U.S. Senate. Mike, Caroline?
Tim, one thing that stood out to me is there are not a lot of voters in this poll who aren't sure what they're going to vote for, right?
Yeah, that stood out to me as well. Only 9% say they are undecided. And Fleming says that means Fung will have to try and change the minds of voters that for now are supporting Gina Raimondo. What we don't know is how solid is her 43%. Can some of those voters have a change of heart?
All right, thanks, Tim. And next week, your local election headquarters brings you the first live televised debate of the Rhode Island gubernatorial race. The candidates will face off at Roger Williams University on Thursday, September 27th.
And Eyewitness News reporters Tim White and Ted Nesi will moderate the 1-hour debate. It will air live right here on WPRI 12 at 7 p.m. And immediately after the debate, keep it on WPRI 12. Danielle North will have instant reaction to the debate for viewers on Facebook Live. We're also Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters. New at 5:30, we're bringing you more results from our exclusive Eyewitness News Roger Williams University poll. While the governor's race has been capturing most of the attention this election season, there's another big office on the ballot in November, U.S. Senator.
Our poll finds if the election were held today, 54% of voters would back Democratic incumbent Sheldon Whitehouse, while 35% would support Republican challenger Bob Flanders. 10% aren't sure.
And Eyewitness News reporter Ted Nesi joins us now with a closer look at the numbers and how President Trump may be affecting the race. Ted?
Mike, Caroline, Sheldon Whitehouse is seeking his third 6-year term, and with Republicans only 1 seat away from losing the Senate, the outcome of this race will have an impact in Washington.
Eyewitness News and Roger Williams University polled 420 likely voters on a number of hot topics, including the race for U.S. Senate. Incumbent Democrat Sheldon Whitehouse currently leads Republican Bob Flanders by double digits.
And the campaign for the Senate looks like it's just getting started right now.
Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming has been polling for WPRI 12 since 1984. He says Flanders needs to boost his name recognition.
So I think he's trying to do that right now with his advertising. But again, he has to ramp up and spend a lot more money. Sheldon Whitehouse has a big financial advantage. And if he keeps using that, it's going to be very difficult for Bob Flanders.
One reason Whitehouse is ahead, a majority of voters like what he's doing. The poll finds 50% of voters say Whitehouse is doing an excellent or good job in the Senate, 17% say fair, and 27% say he's doing a poor job.
If I'm the White House campaign, I'm very happy with that number.
Another factor shaping the race, President Trump. The poll shows only 31% of Rhode Island voters think Trump is doing an excellent or good job in the White House, while a stunning 54% say he's doing a poor job.
I think Sheldon Whitehouse will really try to tie Bob Flanders to Donald Trump. He can say he's not with Trump, but he has to go on the air and use paid media to really exploit that and get that message out to the voters.
Voters will have a chance to hear directly from Whitehouse and Flanders next month when they debate here on WPRI 12. Coming up new at 6, Tim White will be back with more poll results, taking an in-depth look at the much closer race for governor. Ted Nesi, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Ted. And next week, your local election headquarters brings you the first live televised debate for the Rhode Island gubernatorial race. Candidates will face off at Roger Williams University on Thursday, September 27th.
Eyewitness News reporters Tim White and Ted Nesi will moderate. You can watch it live from 7 to 8 right here on WPRI 12, or if you want to see it in person, you can sign up now on WPRI.com. And immediately after the debate, check out our WPRI 12 Facebook page where Danielle North will have instant reaction.
Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters, and tonight we're bringing you the results from our exclusive Eyewitness News Roger Williams University poll.
As we first revealed on Eyewitness News live at 5, our results show Democratic Governor Gina Raimondo is seeing a post-primary bump in the polls. If the elections were held today, 420 likely voters tell us 43% of them would choose Raimondo, 36% say Republican Alan Fung, 7% say independent Joe Trillo, 9% aren't sure. 3 other candidates each polled less than 2%.
Eyewitness News reporter Tim White joins us in studio now. And Tim, we didn't only ask people who they would vote for, but their opinions on those candidates.
That's right. We did ask that, and it shows Gina Raimondo and Alan Fung have at least one thing in common: their favorability ratings. Our poll of 420 likely voters finds 50% of them have a favorable opinion of Democratic Governor Gina Raimondo, 47% unfavorable, 4% aren't sure. Republican nominee Alan Fung also has a 50% favorable rating, but 35% say unfavorable, 16% aren't sure.
He's doing well with the Republicans. His numbers have gone down with independents.
Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming has been polling for WPRI 12 since 1984. He says the results show
People, opinions of Gina are set. There's not a lot of movement.
With Republican-turned-independent Joe Trillo, it's a different story. Only 21% of voters have a favorable opinion of Trillo, 36% unfavorable, a whopping 44% aren't sure. Fleming says next Thursday's gubernatorial debate on Eyewitness News is important for Trillo to try and increase his name recognition.
You're going to see Joe Trillo in action. The voters, they get a first-hand look. Some people, it'll be the first time they really get to see who Joe Trillo is.
As we said, 3 other candidates running for governor polled under 2%. They are moderate party candidate William Gilbert and independents Luis Daniel Munoz and Ann Armstrong. Now, tonight at 10 on Fox Providence and 11 here on WPRI 12, more poll results. We tell you if voters think lawmakers should have offered more in taxpayer support to keep the Paw Sox in Rhode Island. Mike, Caroline?
Tim, Ted said at Eyewitness News at 5:30 that the president is hugely unpopular in the state of Rhode Island. Is that going to have an impact on the governor's race?
You got to think it's going to. As Joe Fleming told me, he's confident the Democratic Party in Rhode Island would love it if the president came here to stump for Alan Fung. And with 54% of voters in Rhode Island giving the president a poor job rating, you can understand why he said that.
All right, thanks, Tim. And next week, your local election headquarters brings you the first live televised debate of the Rhode Island gubernatorial race. The candidates will face off at Roger Williams University on Thursday, September 27th.
Tim and Ted Nesi will moderate the 1-hour debate, which will air live right here on WPRI 12 at 7 p.m. You can also sign up for seats at the debate online right now at WPRI.com.
And immediately after the debate, Eyewitness News anchor Danielle North will have instant reaction to the debate from viewers on Facebook Live.